response, the more points you would get. And choose the color that corresponds to the response you.
Excuse me. My screen shows four different shapes. I'm not seeing any question.
Yeah, so you're supposed to see the colors on your screen, but look at what I'm sharing with you. On my screen,
Oh, okay, miss.
you'll have the question there for you. So you choose the color. So you're kind of looking at two screens at once. Time is ticking down, guys. Remember, we're looking at redundancy and we're looking at misplaced modifiers. In this case, this is a case of redundancy. So we got the majority of responses being correct. Still continues is an example of redundancy in English. And it's something that we just kind of take for granted. But saying still in front of continues is redundant. We could just say that he continues to go hiking despite his injuries. So let's see who's on the leaderboard. All right, Alice is first, Shrek is second. Let's go again, guys. Remember, for this section, we're looking at redundancy. And the faster you answer, the more points you're going to score. All right, perfect. So again, majority of responses were correct. If you say repeat again, that is an example of redundancy, because if you're asking someone to repeat, you're really asking them to say what they just said. So we do not need that word again. Excellent job, guys. Shrek is now in the lead. Good job, Shrek. And let's go again. We're looking again for the instance of redundancy. Okay, great. So join together was our redundancy in the sentence. If you're talking about joining something, you actually do not need to include that word together because it is implied. Awesome. Shrek is on a streak. Never thought I'd say that sentence in my life, but good job, guys. So Shrek, Darian, closely followed by Strawberry Angel. Let's go again. Looking for the redundancy once more. This is another super common one. All right, good job, guys. So 12 midnight is redundant. We do not need to specify that 12 because it's implied that midnight will be at 12. Same thing for noon, right? We don't need to say 12 noon. We can simply say noon. All right, a little change in our leaderboard, but Shrek is still on top. Darian is right at your heels, Shrek. Okay, so now we're looking at misplaced adjectives, modifiers in our sentences. So which of these two sentences has the misplaced adjective? All right, so the majority got it correct. When we opened the leather woman's purse, we found the missing keys. So that sentence sounds a little bit strange, right? It sounds like the woman is made of leather. What we needed to do was put our adjective leather in front of purse when we opened the woman's leather purse. That makes a lot more sense. Great job, guys. All right, so Darian has been taken over by a bread dude. We just have a couple more rounds to go. This is a true or false question. Adverbs like nearly, only, and just are often misplaced in sentences and cause an unintended meaning. Good job. Everyone got this one correct. So this is indeed true. Last week we looked at the example of just and we saw that where we put it in the sentence changed the meaning of our sentence completely. Great job, guys. All right. So which of these contains the modifier nearly that emphasizes the amount of money? All right, majority of responses were correct. So saying I made nearly $50 today, that emphasizes the amount of money. However, saying I nearly made $50 today does not really emphasize the money. It's saying I almost made that amount or that sum. Okay, so we have one more round to go. Which of these means he nodded to Ella when she arrived? So we have that modifier just. All right, awesome. So he nodded to Ella just as she came in, speaks to the time, but saying he nodded to just Ella as she came in really just means that Ella was the only one he nodded to. So that's what we mean by where you put your modifier can determine the meaning of your sentence. So let's see our runners up. We have third place, Strawberry Angel. Second place, we had a bread dude. And first place, we had Shrek. Alice and Darian were our notable mentions.
I believe I'm third place. Woo!
Woo, nice job, Rochelle.
Yes, I was Shrek.
Good job, Tishan. All right, so we're going to continue our little discussion on misplaced modifiers today. And I trust that that little Kahoot quiz that we completed together sets a very nice tone, because we're going to just continue from where we left off. All right, so excellent job, guys. So we looked at the misplaced adjectives, we looked at misplaced adverbs, but sometimes we have misplaced phrases too. And just like your misplaced adjective or adverb, the phrase may cause your sentence to sound awkward.
Excuse me, miss, are we continuing? Because we had misplaced adverbs before.
Yep, this is just a continuation of that same topic that we were doing.
Okay, miss.
Right, so it may cause your sentence to sound really strange. So, for example, right, so the dealer sold the car to the man with the leather seats. So, this is not Transformers, guys. Men do not have leather seats, right? So, the leather seats are actually supposed to modify the car, right? But instead, because of its placement in the sentence, it seems like we're speaking about the man. So, if we were to correct this misplaced phrase, we'll say the dealer sold the car with the leather seats to the man. And doesn't that sound so much better and so much less awkward than before? All right, so I want you guys to try this next one. Remember, we're looking at misplaced phrases. Actually, okay, so the two men talked quietly in the corner smoking cigarettes. How can we replace our phrase for it to modify the noun that it's supposed to modify? Yes, Tishan.
Miss, will it be the two men smoking cigarettes talk quietly in the corner?
Yes, excellent job. So in this sentence, it sounds like the corner is the one that's smoking the cigarettes, right? So it's modifying the wrong noun. Instead, we want to insert it here. The two men smoking cigarettes talked quietly in the corner. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes, miss.
All right, awesome. So those are phrases, and can we move on to the misplaced clauses? Is anyone still writing or taking a screenshot?
Me, miss, I writing.
Okay, so we'll wait for Rochelle. The thing with these misplaced modifiers,
Oh,
the thing with these misplaced modifiers is that you may not always pick up on them because you may be thinking a particular thing in your mind. You're saying, okay, yeah, the two men are smoking cigarettes, but sometimes you might write it and it may modify a noun that you did not intend for it to modify. And when that happens, it can cause confusion. So, like we talked about last week, sometimes if you see a really strange looking sentence in a book, you might have a double take and you're like, wait, what? A corner smoking cigarettes? That can't be right. And then when you really dissect the sentence, you say, oh, okay, they actually meant that the men were the ones smoking the cigarettes. So we want to definitely not have any instances of this happening in our writing, right? When the examiner or the teacher or whoever is reading our essay, they should not have to look at the sentence to figure out what you mean. You should not be having any misplaced modifiers in anything that you write. Okay, Rachel, can I move on?
yes, Miss.
Perfect. So now let's talk about the misplaced clauses. And we know that clauses are different from phrases. Why are they different? What's the difference between a phrase and a clause, guys?
Miss, can you repeat what you said?
What's the difference between a phrase and a clause?
Miss is a phrase like something that, like it's a bunch of words that isn't a sentence.
Yes. So a phrase is an incomplete expression of words. It cannot stand on its own. It will not have a subject and verb and make complete sense. So like we saw before, we had some phrases here. We actually had with the leather seats. So we have noun, but there's no verb. In the corner, smoking cigarettes, we have noun, we have verb, but it does not make sense, right? It cannot stand on its own. So it's different from a clause because the clause will always have a subject and a verb. And if it's an independent clause, it will make sense on its own. If it's a dependent clause, it will not make sense on its own, but it begins with a subordinating conjunction like because or since or as. So that's just a little refresher for you guys. So let's look at the misplaced clauses. All right, so we are in a restaurant. The waiter served a dinner roll to the woman that was well buttered. The woman, was she well buttered? No, right? Tashan, what's wrong here? Help me out.
Miss, it makes it seem like the woman is what is buttered and it's a dinner roll. So it'll be the waiter served a well buttered dinner roll to the woman.
Okay, good. Yeah, so we can have it two ways. We can say the waiter served a well buttered dinner roll to the woman.
Excuse me, Miss.
Yeah, Rochelle?
I was going to say the waiter served a dinner roll to the woman. The waiter served a dinner roll to the woman that was buttered, well buttered.
So that's kind of the same thing we have here, right? So we're not saying that the woman is well buttered. What we really mean is that the dinner roll is the thing that's well buttered. So as Tishan said, we could have it this way, which is really, really good. Or we could even have it in a different way. The waiter served a dinner roll that was well buttered to the woman.
Hello, miss. I'm very sorry for joining late. However, I have amazing news.
Hey, Emily, what's up?
There is a 99.999% chance that I might be leaving my terrible cultivar school.
Oh my gosh, okay. You sound very happy about that.
I am. The male teacher said that my parents could go to the different country and that I could stay in the ashram with him, which is giving off several red flags.
Agreed.
So my mom was like, I think we're good.
All right. Well, Emily, I'm glad if you do get through with leaving your toxic school. That sounds very sus. Sending you good vibes. All right, guys. So we could have it this way as well, where we really don't change too much. We just move the clause around. So we can use the same thing and say the rule that was well buttered. So we just recycle what we had here to the woman. But I really like Tashan's sentence because it is a lot more concise. So served a well buttered dinner roll to the woman, it sounds a lot better. It is more concise. It's not as drawn out and long as this one. Right, guys? So let's look at another example of the misplaced clause. Okay, so am I okay to move this page?
Yes, miss.
Perfect. So I want you guys to tell me what is the misplaced clause. So we have Ralph, and Ralph piled all of his clothes in the hamper that he had worn. What is our misplaced clause here? What do we need to kind of shift around a little bit for it to make a little more sense?
Miss, I'm actually confused on this one.
Okay, so let's read it again. Ralph piled all of his clothes in the hamper that he had worn. So this sentence makes it sound like he wore his hamper, right? Good job, Alyssa and Leanne. Yeah, so the hamper that he had worn. So we can look at that he had worn. That is misplaced. So what should we now have as we correct our sentence? Go ahead, Tashan.
Ralph piled all of his clothes that he had worn in the hamper.
Beautiful. We needed to modify the verb that it actually is supposed to modify. Otherwise, it sounds very, very strange. And you confuse
Miss,
your reader.
at first I was confused because I thought that he had worn the hamper.
Exactly. So we want to definitely avoid that kind of confusion in our writing. he had to kind of look at it a second time to figure out what the sentence was saying. So Ralph piled all of his clothes that he had worn in the hamper. Or we could even condense it a little bit to make it sound a bit better and say that Ralph piled all of his worn clothes in the hamper. Make sense, guys?
Yes, miss.
All right, excellent. Is everyone else okay with this? The misplaced clauses and the misplaced phrases? All right, perfect. So sometimes when we're correcting a misplaced modifier, you may create a sentence with a meaning that you did not intend. So I'm going to give you guys 2 examples. Okay, so the teacher said on Monday she would return our essays. If you read the sentence, what is the meaning of the sentence that you are getting? Anyone? Tashan?
Miss, it sounds like if it's not Monday and the teacher is telling them the date that they will get their essays back.
Right. So that's one possible meaning that you could have gotten from this sentence. So we put a little question mark here on Monday because Monday, the way that it is placed here, it could be modifying either what the teacher said or when she would return the essay. So did the teacher say this on Monday? Or will she return the essay on Monday? So this sentence can cause quite a lot of confusion, right? 2 people reading the same sentence may interpret the meaning of it differently, and we definitely don't want to do that. So if we are making a correction to this sentence, the teacher said that she would return our essay on Monday, right? Or on Monday, comma, the teacher said she would return our essays. So I'm going to write the 2 of them for you, and I want you to tell me which meaning corresponds to which sentence, right? All right, so we're looking at these 2 meanings. If she said it on Monday, which sentence should we use?
The second one, miss.
Right. So if she said she'd return on Monday, we would use the first one. So we could have made a correction in either way, depending on the meaning that you are trying to convey with your sentence. All right, guys, how is that? I'm going to just pause so we can send out a little poll here. So let me know if you're feeling confused about anything that we have looked at so far. All right, let me get some feedback from, we have a few more persons who did not respond. Just waiting for you guys. Yes, Rochelle? Oh, wow, your audio is really, really bad. Can you type? Okay, so I'm going to end the poll there. Thanks, guys. Everyone has given me very positive feedback, so that's really good to see. We also have to cover something called a dangling modifier. However, we will leave that for our next class, right? I don't want to get into it today, and then we only have like literally 1 minute. So we have the misplaced modifier, where we actually just misplace our modifier, basically. So it describes the wrong noun. But we also have a dangling modifier, where there is a modifier that really doesn't describe anything, and it's just kind of dangling there, like chilling by itself for no reason. So we also want to be looking at that, and we'll look at that in our next Wednesday class. Is that okay with everyone?
Yes, miss.
Tashani sounded so sad.
Oh, sorry, miss.
Okay, so guys, I hope you learned a lot today. Remember, these are the what not to do guidelines for your essay writing, right? So we definitely do not want to have any misplaced modifiers or dangling modifiers. So we've come to the end of this tutorial. It was a pleasure serving you today. Please take a minute to fill in the quality control questions that will appear when the meeting ends. Tell us what you'd like us to do differently and how we can improve to better serve you. Thanks for choosing BetterGradesFast.com. Do have a blessed day. And our standard 1 to 3 English Language Arts class will begin at 5:30. So I'll see you guys. Yes, Rochelle, I saw your message.
Bye, miss.
Bye, Tashawn. Oh, Rochelle, I'm gonna have to mute you because the audio is coming in really, really, really badly.
Miss, do you end the meeting and the thing pops up, or is it when we leave it pops up? Because I'm not sure.
Well, I'm going to end the meeting now, so it should pop up.
Okay, miss.
All right, guys, so if you're coming back in for standard 1 to 3, we'll begin in 3 minutes. If not, I'll see you guys. Bye.